Welcome back to another Minutes with the Man. Some Christians just seem super on fire, don't you think? I mean, they just got it together. Anything thrown their way is handled beautifully. They always know what to say, always seem blessed beyond reason, always a smile on their face. And their prayers, eloquent and regal, like they just got God on speed dial. Parents, explain that reference to your kids. Oh, let's not forget, they just happen to always get the best parking spot. And they just seem filled with the Spirit, am I right? Trusting God is a no-brainer for these people. And then there's the newbie Christians, the babes in the faith. So much work to be done. They barely know their Bible, always asking questions in Bible study, never quite understanding. Did they even get out of the baptismal yet? And then there's everyone in between, all of us pseudo-spirit-filled folk with perhaps one foot still in the water. Since the beginning of our walk with Christ, we've all experienced different trials and challenges. Some were victories, some not. It seems like we all end up at varying levels of faith. Now, is this whole idea really a thing? Are there different levels of faith? Or can Christians be more advanced than others? Now, the short answer is yes. However, hear me out before you pop a vein in your head. As I so humorously illustrated earlier, everyone is at varying degrees of faith depending on a lot of factors. Their life experience, their age, their time in the Word, their time in prayer, the amount of sin and trauma that needs to be forgiven and healed, their willingness to surrender, their level of desperation. All right, so one could be a more advanced follower than Christ. One could say more intimate. So what? Are they untouchable, incapable of wrong, unaffected by life's problems? Now that's a hard no. Everyone has a common weakness, the same crack in the armor, the weak spot in the wall, our flesh, our connection to this sinful world. It's also not easy to define the different levels. You remember when Paul speaks to the Corinthians about sacrificial meat? Think about what today's equivalent would be. Perhaps a nice glass of wine, or a locally crafted brew, a Nicaraguan cigar, Nicaraguan coffee. The situation in Scripture describes a new believer having problems with that kind of stuff, whereas the mature were like, what's the big deal? It's just meat. Well, I'd argue that many people with varying levels of spiritual intimacy and maturity may or may not have a problem with today's sacrificial meat. It's not like once you reach faith level 15, no more beer, not allowed. I digress. We have to understand and expect that all people face trials beyond their ability to handle. That's when the rest of the body comes in. The head needs the neck needs the spine. Every part is both necessary and flawed. None of us want to be the pinky toe, but you know you'd miss it if it wasn't there. Bear each other's burdens. Pray for each other. The love of Christ is equal over all. He has no favorites. Here's what I hope you take away from all this. Everyone in your church community, from the typical congregant to the lowly temperature checker, to the kids program volunteer, all the way up to leadership. They're all capable of both sinning and being affected by sin. The higher levels shouldn't gloat over the lower levels, while the lower levels shouldn't put the higher on a pedestal. With this understanding, let's show a little grace. Thanks for listening.